Throughout the Zelda series, we see Ganondorf, the King of Evil. He's once seen sealed by the Hero of Time, sealed underwater in Wind Waker, and stabbed in Twilight Princess. Throughout the series with Ganondorf, we see him in only 3 games: Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Ocarina of Time. Meaning that there's only one real Ganondorf, right? Well, yeah, that's true. So, by looking at my theory today, I have something very interesting to talk about. What if Ganondorf is different than Demise? What if Demise didn't reincarnate himself, but reincarnated his hatred into Ganondorf? That could be taken away. Well, today we're going to solve that. Today we're going to see if Ganondorf could actually be good. So, first looking, at the end of Skyward Sword when we defeat Demise, he is putting his, everlasting curse on us, and this is his words. Those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time. Notice when he says this, he says, an incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind. He never says anything about himself being reincarnated into someone, and so he can live on again. No, this is talking about his hatred, and shall doom them into the darkness, to the blood-soaked sea, for all of time. His hatred has been reincarnated inside Ganondorf. So this meaning that Ganondorf is really a separate person than Demise. Just his incarnate of hatred is inside of him, and you can see he says, "Blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they shall be doomed into the blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time." Demise, honestly, he kind of hates the goddess and the hero, ultimately Zelda and Link, because they defeated him in this game. And so, an incarnation of himself, incarnation of his hatred, shall follow them and doom them, meaning that it will kill them, that he pretty much wants to kill them. Now, we know that they don't die, obviously, but that's essentially what he's trying to get out of this. So by looking at this, looking back at Ganondorf, does he ever really have the intent when he's born to kill the hero and the princess for revenge? He never really thinks about that, and the curse never says anything about taking over Hyrule. I think he could care less. I think Demise really just wants to kill the hero and the princess. But we never see Ganondorf really, just waking up and be like, I want to kill these people. Not until the final battle we see he wants to fight them and kill them. So essentially, Demise's hatred goes into Ganondorf, and it makes him so mad that that the incarnation and then time is repeating itself. Ganondorf wants to kill the hero of time and the princess, as we see. In the Wind Waker, Ganondorf says, "When the sun rose into the sky, a burning wind punished my lands, searing the world, and when the moon climbed into the dark of night, a frigid gale pierced our homes. No matter when it came, the wind carried the same thing, death. But the winds that blew across the green fields of Hyrule brought something other than suffering and ruin. By looking at what he's saying in this game, we could definitely tell that he has no desire to kill the hero or kill Princess Zelda, as we see Demise wants to. If we really looked at the game, he literally says that he's not going to kill them, he just wants the Triforce pieces. And by seeing this passage, he's talking about, in our home, the Gerudo, all that came was death that came from our homes. But in Hyrule, the green fields of Hyrule, there's something other than death. There is life. And so he wanted that life. He says, I coveted that wind, I suppose. He wanted the winds of Hyrule so his people, the Gerudo, could live on peacefully and not have that much death going on in their lives. He's doing this for the Gerudo. See, when we come to the battles between Ganondorf and Link and Zelda, it's really obvious to see that Ganondorf really wants to kill them now. But, I mean, that wasn't originally his case, like I said before. His desire to get the Gerudo and him to higher place in Hyrule and be able to live better for him and his tribe. That's his original plan. And sure, his ways of getting that plan isn't the best ways, but the real reason why Ganondorf has these desires, but they're twisted by Demise's hatred inside of him. Ganondorf is a whole different person than Demise. He has a whole different mind. He has whole different desires than Demise does. And Demise's hatred makes him have hatred in him, meaning that his ways to do his things aren't the best ways because they're twisted by hatred. And by ended up trying to kill Link and Zelda, that's also twisted by hatred, because Demise's hatred shall ever follow them. And Ganondorf, imagine something you desire most that'll help your family, and then it's all taken away by you by this one person. Well, what are you gonna do? You're obviously gonna be angry. So Demise's hatred inside Ganondorf obviously activated, and really just went out there to try to kill Link and Zelda on all the games that he's in. So if Demise isn't inside Ganondorf, then what exactly is Ganon? Well, Ganon, I feel like he's a kind of big mixture of them. That Ganondorf is so angry with Demise's hatred, it's boiling up, and eventually that hatred kind of transforms Ganondorf into a beast that only knows hatred and destruction, and has no mind, and only to kill. That's kind of Demise's hatred kind of taking control of Ganondorf, meaning that all that hatred in one thing, and just pure destruction going across the land. This might also explain why we don't see Ganon at the end of Wind Waker when we defeat Ganondorf, because out of all the games, that's the only game where we don't have to fight Ganon, except Puppet Ganon, but that doesn't really count. When we look at Wind Waker, in the opening scene, we get to see what happens when Link goes back to the child era. We see that Ganon eventually comes back, he arises once again, and total destruction comes across the land. But then the goddess, of course, flooded Hyrule with Ganon in it, and he ends up returning to the surface as Ganondorf. Ganon, when he's in there, he has so much hatred that he destroys so much land and so much of Hyrule, and then when he's sealed away, he kind kind of calms down and transforms back to Ganondorf. It's kind of like the Hulk, you know? Anger inside of him, and then he kind of calms down. He's back to Ganondorf. But, so, the real reason why we don't see Ganon at the end of the game is because there's not enough hatred inside of him left. Demise's hatred is running out of him, and there's almost nothing left, because it makes sense, because Ganondorf at the end of Wind Waker, or during Wind Waker, he has the biggest heart than any other Ganondorfs we see. He doesn't want to kill anyone. He wants everything to be okay. He wants Hyrule to come again, so the people can live in Hyrule. That's exactly what he wants. He wants a better life for everyone and his people.